Reservists from the UK's only Armoured Reserve unit have been taking part in training with a difference in Dorset. They've had the opportunity to experience life on the edge in a 60-tonne Challenger 2 tank. Hannah Gurney has the details.
OK, handbrake off, advance.
This is a Saturday job with a difference. The Challenger 2 is Britain's main battle tank, and if you're a reservist with this unit, you're taught how to drive one. Weighing just over 60 tonnes and with a 120mm gun, this tank is serious business. There's normally 4 people inside: a commander, a driver, a gunner and an operator. They all communicate with each other via radio.
The driver is making sure he's doing what I tell him to do, but also he has a lot of freedom. He needs to be able to keep himself on the road because there's so much else going on. The gunner's controlling the turret, normally under my control, but again, he needs to keep his wits about him. The operator has a relatively easy ride when we're doing training like this. Very hard when we're actually doing gunnery, but during the driving stage, he's just making sure that anything that I don't have time to see, he's just my backup. And then I probably have the hardest job at the moment. You have the hull going in one direction, you've got the turret going in another direction, you're talking to 3 different people at the same time on the radio, and you're making sure that you don't hit anything.
The Royal Wessex Yeomanry is the UK's only Armoured Reserve unit. They'll be providing backup to the 3 tank regiments, which are the King's Royal Hussars, the Queen's Royal Hussars and the Royal Tank Regiment. Now, it's vitally important that all of these people here this weekend are fully trained on Challenger 2 tanks, and they also know what it takes to make a good soldier.
You do need to have the barrel inside the back deck so we can pull around to the back.
Before setting off, the crew check the tanks in full working order. This involves making sure the tank tracks are on correctly so they don't fall off. The training keeps the reservist skills up to date. Trooper Charlie Ellen is a fully qualified Challenger 2 driver.
As long as you keep fresh and you do it as often as you can do, then it comes straight back to you. So there's very little skill fade, but you need to keep these things current.
The all-weather track in Bovington is an assault course for tanks. The soldiers practice driving over steps. And then there's what's known as the knife edge.
The first time I did it, I was hatched down, so I couldn't really see what I was doing. I was going on commands from my commander, but the second time it was hatch open, and it's when you see the sky and then as you drop down, it all just comes into focus. It's good fun, and just driving a tank is awesome. It doesn't feel like you're driving 60 tonnes worth of metal. It doesn't feel that heavy.
The Army wants to double the number of reservists by 2020, which means the regiment's search for new recruits is still ongoing.
Somebody that wants to join the reserves should be an individual that wants to live a life less ordinary. They need to be able to get up in the morning and think that there is something else out there for them to do. And if they're proactive enough to go and start having a look, then the Army Reserve is a great place for them.
The next tank training for these reservists will be on Salisbury Plain in August. Hannah Gurney, Forces News in Bovington.